Hello, it's Joe, and are you tired, like me, of reading about hypermasculine men that no one can relate to? If you are, then this video and hopefully the comments beneath it are for you. So in this video I'm going to be talking about some men that I personally have read about in books that sort of break the mould of what it stereotypically means to be a man. Hypermasculinity is a huge problem in my opinion, especially in books. We get so many books with characters who identify as men who are just completely not relatable and just chunks of meat with mouths and penises. And not all men have penises, first of all, so there's that. Honestly, it's only been this year that I've started to read books that feature men that break out of that mould, and so I'm definitely no expert on the subject. So I have, I think it's 5? Yes, I have 5 books to recommend for you that feature men that sort of break the hypermasculine mould stereotype thing that I personally have read. However, I also need your help because I feel like there might be some people watching this who are completely have never read anything like that before, or maybe they've read all of the books I'm talking about and need ones with even more diverse men. So at the end of this video I am going to make a request of all of you people watching, but first of all let's just dive right into the books. So the first book I have for you today is A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. This is a YA historical fiction about a young man named Monty who goes travelling around Europe in, I think it's the 1700s or the 1800s, I'm not sure. But either way, it's a really good book, first of all. I gave it 4 stars. And Monty is our main character, and he is definitely not a stereotypical man. He cries and he makes wrong decisions and he's a bit of a coward, and honestly he's great. He's a great character to read about. In terms of liking him, like if I knew him in real life as a person, I'm not sure I would, but he's definitely not a hypermasculine man. I understand that this book is rather popular on BookTube, so a lot of you have probably read it already. But if you haven't read it, I definitely recommend this one, even if you're not into historical fiction, because honestly, I wasn't before I read this, and now I want to read all the historical fiction. The next one I want to recommend to you today is actually more of an author than a specific book. However, I am representing it with one of his books. So, Adam Silvera is the author. This book is They Both Die at the End. Honestly, I recommend all of Adam Silvera's books for male characters that break out of the mould. This one in particular is set in a near-futuristic world where a company named Deathcast have been able to predict when someone's going to die, and so at around midnight of the day of your death you get a call saying that you're going to die before the next midnight. And so our 2 main characters, Matteo and Rufus, get that call on the same day. They don't know each other, but they find each other through something called the Last Friend app, where people who are on their death day can meet up with other people who are on the death day, and, you know, if they're lonely, they can spend that time together. And Matteo and Rufus meet up, and it follows their journey on the last day together and the last day ever. And it's honestly so good. Both Matteo and Rufus are very real men in terms of they have emotions and they have feelings and they get angry and they cry and they care about things, and it's just a great book. Matteo in particular is an amazing representation of a male character, in my opinion. He's so like gentle and caring and kind, and I think it really rubs off on Rufus, who is a little more rough around the edges. But yeah, if you like the sound of this book, I would highly recommend it. Next up we have A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. This is a series that follows 3 children who become orphans at the beginning of the series, and they're basically passed around from distant relative to distant relative in their care until the oldest orphan, who is named Violet, becomes of age and gets to inherit the Baudelaire fortune that the parents have left them. They're being chased throughout the whole series by Count Olaf, who is a distant relative of theirs, who they go to live with first in this book. And it's honestly a really whimsical and really great series to read just in general. But Klaus, who is one of the orphans, is the character that I'm sort of highlighting in terms of being relevant to this video. Klaus is a bookish nerd, essentially. He loves books, he loves reading, he reads really quickly, he has a great memory for things in the books, and he definitely is not your stereotypical man. I mean, he's a boy, first of all, not a man. And so, yeah, I think you'll really enjoy this series if you haven't read it already. The next book that I have to recommend to you today is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Elire Sands. That's a mouthful. This book is a YA contemporary that follows a boy named Aristotle who is struggling with life in general, to be honest. He feels a bit down and he's not sure what he wants to do with his life. And then he meets Dante and they really hit it off together and they become fast friends. And Dante is such a positive light in Ari's life. Both Ari and Dante I found really relatable. Personally, I related more to Aristotle than Dante, but I preferred Dante's character. Yeah, both of them sort of break the mold that I've been constantly talking about in this video, and I would highly recommend this book if you haven't read it already. I understand that it's really popular, so you probably have read it, but whatever. And the last book that I have to recommend to you is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This book follows 6 sort of anti-heroes who go on an epic heist to break into this prison, and honestly this book is incredible. First of all, it's a YA fantasy, I believe. I think that's how you'd categorise it, and the characters in this book are so incredible. My personal favourite characters in this book are Inej and Nina, who are 2 women. However, as it is a video recommending male characters, the 2 characters that I'm recommending in this one are Wylan and Jesper. Specifically Wylan. Wylan is the son of the man who hires these 6 people to do the heist, and so that's why he goes along with it in the first place. But we learn quite a lot about Wylan in this book, and even though he doesn't have a perspective in this book, in the sequel, which is called Crooked Kingdom, he has a perspective in that, and honestly, he's so great. He feels so real to me, personally. He plays, I can't remember what instrument he plays, but he plays an instrument that isn't your typical male, masculine electric guitar or drums or whatever. I think he plays, piano or violin or something, or flute, I don't know. But he plays a cool instrument, and he is definitely not hypermasculine. He cries, he complains, he's a bit of a coward. He definitely doesn't completely fit in with the rest of the group at first, but I think they definitely grow to love him, and I definitely grew to love him. And if you haven't read this book already, if you haven't read this duology already, you definitely need to get on that as soon as possible, right now. But again, I understand that this is a very popular duology, and a lot of you are probably watching this thinking, I've already read it, come on. But if you haven't, go and do it. So those are all the books featuring real men that I have to recommend to you. However, I do have a request for all you guys watching. If you're watching this video and you think that I haven't mentioned a character or a book series that features real men that you would recommend, then please leave suggestions below so that people watching this can go below and maybe find their next favourite book. Please leave comments below with books featuring transgender men and gay men, bisexual men, pansexual men, all the men, leave them below. And also, I just want to say that hopefully we'll all get some good recommendations from this video and the comments underneath it. I know I'm not the most articulate or eloquent person to be talking about this kind of topic, but hopefully you understood what I meant throughout the video and hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the link is below. If you want to be my friend on Goodreads, that link is below as well. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you think you like more of my videos, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.